Hey everyone, welcome to Matthew K. This week we're talking to Guillaume Arthus. He's a French ultra runner. He's just finished to cross the Pyrenees from one side to another and broke the record for it in 14 days. Amazing guy, brilliant to speak to him. Lots of insight in how to get ready for ultras, the importance of your kit, the importance of your mind and your nutrition, and also a big insight on his training. Yeah, really nice guy, really good interview. Love every second. You can find his documentary of his adventure on his Facebook page, Guillaume Arthus, or Run Explorer as well is one of his Facebook page, or on YouTube. It's an amazing documentary. Hope you enjoy his interview. Happy running!
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, I'm sitting on my microphone because I'm using my box just died. My internet box just died, so I need to use my phone for internet.
All right.
I have something to record, so I'm looking for like an app or software to actually record. I have a mic here. It's just off camera, but. Okay. Yeah, I had a rough night.
Yeah, celebrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Celebrating. Yeah, basically. Yeah. And it's the first time I worked because I finished the movie and everything, so I was like,
yeah,
okay, proper party. And I'm not working today because it's the first. So.
Yeah.
All right. Let's find quickly like a voice record software. So how long have you been living in the UK since forever?
Since 1998.
That's a pretty long time.
Yeah. That's the last time we won the World Cup, so yeah.
Indeed, yeah, that's quite some time ago. Not gonna happen anytime soon. I'm not gonna find anything.
I use Audacity usually.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah,
That's pretty good to run in the background.
Yeah, Audacity, very good. I'm just gonna download that really quick. Sorry about that.
That's alright.
Yeah, it was funny because like literally 3 minutes ago, there was like the siren.
Yeah.
Because it's the 1st of November, so that's when they test it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, is it gonna happen during? Let me download this.
Yeah, forgot about that because we don't have it here, so you kind of forget.
Yeah.
You know, that's in France. It's bank holiday and stuff.
It is a bank holiday. Yeah. Well, we have bank holidays for absolutely everything, so.
Yeah, I know.
We are barely working, basically. We just. That would be better to have like proper mic recording so that you can use. I'm gonna make a clap sound or something like that. Or
yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna match yours and mine or something like that. But or if it's good enough through Skype. I mean,
yeah, usually it's good enough for me through Skype because then I just extract the sound out of the video and just.
All right. That's good. Oh, it's taking forever. Yeah, I don't have fiber now. I have 4G network.
Yeah.
It's slower. So when did you start to do these podcasts?
I started the podcast sometimes this year because I started training using the MAF method. I don't know if you heard about it, low heart rate and low carb, high fat nutrition. And when I researched into it, all I could find was in America or in Australia. So obviously they talk about product we don't have in the UK. So I thought, well, I might as well just start talking about it and talking about my journey with other people in the UK. So then we can, share training, product advice and stuff. But we don't just focus on the math, we just pretty much focus on running, nutrition, training in general. Because even if you follow a method, it's always good to look at different ways, because nothing is set in stone and we're all individuals. So sometimes you might do a method, but then if you take some bits from someone else's training or nutrition and adapt it to yourself. So that's why I look a lot at ultra runners in general, because that's probably the best example how to sustain nutrition.
You won't be happy with my nutrition on this. Okay, and now I installed everything and I would like it to work. How do I plug my mic in this? I have no idea. I'm sorry about that.
That's alright.
Yeah, my box crashed and now I don't have that. If I just press record, what happens?
But we'll record the sound straight from your computer.
Yeah, it's the computer, and that's a crappy one. So, oh, there it is. There is the microphone. Is that the right? Let me try this one. I found how to change the microphone recording. So, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. No, it's not this one. What about this one? 1 2. No, doesn't care. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. That's output. I don't care about the output. Input. Does it even work with the one from the webcam?
Yes,
it works with the one from the webcam. Okay, so that's not too bad. And now I just need to record this one. Yeah, that's mic in. Okay. I have no idea if it's working. This is beautiful. Well, at least I can get the one from the webcam, so it's not. I have something. But I might have a proper mic. Oh, sorry. Okay, I think I have it. The sound mapper. 1 2. Okay, I have it. It's recording.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so much trouble. Beautiful. All right. Yeah. So we can start now.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I thought maybe to start you can introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you, and then we'll start from there. Really.
All right. So my name is Guillaume Arthus. I'm French. I'm 27, and I've been running for about 7 years. I started a little bit by mistake. I was a swimmer before, and I basically didn't have a swimming pool anymore because I was moving for university, and I was pissed, and I went to run around a lake until I was exhausted, and it turns out I did a half marathon. So I kind of fell in love right away with running. So I was always sporty, but not a runner at all, and I picked it up on the dime. It kind of happened. It really came to me, and then I kind of never looked back. I had 3 years. In the first year, I was not doing anything stupid or crazy, or I was just basically, a jogger, running a little and things like that. I did do my first marathon in 4 hours 40 minutes, and for about 2-3 years, I was not doing anything. I was not properly training. I was basically, moving legs.
Yeah.
And after 3 years, I actually started to train properly. And I moved from 4:20 on a marathon to 3:30 in a year.
Oh, that's good.
Not too bad, right?
Yeah.
So
I've just done one in 4:34, so I've got to be humble.
Yeah, so basically in the span of 3 years, I wasn't doing anything, and then I started properly training for the 12-week program I was following. And at that moment, I realized this is actually working for me, and I was making progress. And then it's paid off badly for me. I went straight to so many running and so many trails and all of that, because I was also hiking with my parents.
Yeah.
A lot. A lot. Every summer we spent 3 weeks in the mountains, basically. And so I was hiking and then running, and I was like, why not do both at the same time?
Yeah.
And so trail running was there. And it's a moment, right before everything happened with Guillaume Arthus. Basically Guillaume Arthus created ultra running.
Yeah.
And the modern version of it with everybody into it and all of that.
Yeah.
So it generated all that big community that we have today.
Yeah.
But when I started, there was basically nothing. And I was right at the beginning, and I was, everybody was 50 years old, and I was 24, and I always been like that, you show up to a race, you're the youngest, and things like that. Now we have young guys coming in, and people being like 20, 21 coming in. So I'm no longer the youngest on the trail, but it used to be like that.
Yeah.
So basically, in the span of a season, I did my 2 first trail races. There was like 38K, things like that.
Yeah.
And then Saint-Élion, and then it spinned off so badly. I mean, it just, so basically Saint-Élion is like a 92, 93 kilometer race in France in December.
Yeah.
All frosted, beautiful, like I fell all the time. Everybody was falling. It was black ice everywhere.
Yeah.
And so that was my longest. And then I moved to the US for a couple of years to study.
Yeah.
And I was living in Chicago, and I saw a race in Canada that was actually called the Sinister 7.
Yeah.
I actually have the shirt on me right now. And I registered on the wait list, and that's 92 miles, so 148K.
Yeah.
It's a 100-miler. By the way, everybody should run it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I just put my name on the wait list, say, you know what, let's decide what happens, and it was also for my birthday and things like that. So let's register and see what happens. So I was not expecting. I was like way at the bottom of the wait list, and the race director called me the next day and saying, like, you're an international, and so we know that if we call you 5 minutes before the race, you won't be able to show up, so you're in.
All right. Good.
Yeah, but the problem was I was moving from 72K to 148.
Yeah.
And I had to train for elevation, and I was living on a pancake, because basically Chicago is flat as hell.
Yeah.
So I jumped right away on it. And so I moved in the span of 2 years from running marathon in 4:20 to finishing a 92-mile race in 26 hours in Canada.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fast. And then, again, it went terribly wrong because I got all my points for UTMB.
Yeah.
So I signed up.
Yeah.
I got in. And now it was about the time for me to leave the US. And so my parents are like, you're going to start working, and you need to take like a big break before starting to work. And so it was like, they don't really want holidays. I didn't really took any kind of holidays. I was always working internships and stuff like that for the last 5 years. I didn't really took any kind of holidays more than a week. And so I was like, I don't want to do anything. It's like, no, you don't understand. You need to take a break. So I was in that situation where after my MBA, I needed to basically kill 50 days before coming back to France and starting my job.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I want to see the US national parks. I have 50 days. How many can I fit in? The map.
Yeah.
Put all the national parks on the map and drew a line.
Yeah.
And then I did the line.
Yeah.
So took the car, went on a road trip for 50 days, running 26 national parks. And what was supposed to be, one-time thing about discovering the country became actually something much more than that, way bigger than that. It became, actually an adventure lifestyle more than anything else. So I still have a job. I have a regular job. I'm an accountant.
Yeah.
But every single of my holidays and weekends, I'm actually off and going run in the mountains,
Yeah.
just go train and things like that. So that one-time project was supposed to be one shot. Really became something way bigger. And now every year, I basically take every single of my holidays in one block.
Yeah.
And go do some trips. So after the one in the US, I did Western Europe, and last year I did Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And I realized that, on those trips I'm running about 800 kilometers, 50,000 meters of gain. But on the first trip, so it's always kind of the same format, and which is funny because it's also the format of the Pyrenees, it turned out.
Yeah.
That 800 kilometer for 40k of gain. And so in 2013, took me 50 days.
Yeah.
And a year later, it took me 40.
Yeah.
And a year later, it took me 20. And this year, it took me like 30. And this year, it took me 14 to do it.
Yeah.
And so I was moving with a car, with everything, a lot of kit and everything. And the more I was doing it, the more I was shrinking the kit.
Yeah.
Shrinking. Until the moment I realized that all I needed could fit in a backpack.
Yeah.
And that was like a eureka moment. You're like, oh my God, I can actually like cross mountain ranges in autonomy.
Yeah.
I have the physical strength for it. And so I went for it, and this is why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
Because of Pyrenees, yeah.
Yeah, 14 days.
So it's funny because, it started like a little thing.
Yeah.
I basically started running because I was pissed. And then a full string of wrong decision of doing wanting to do stupid things that led me to do something like that.
Yeah.
And to completely change my lifestyle and my approach to the perspective of what I want to do and how I do things and the wish to discover trails and not necessarily having the need for a race.
Yeah. I think most of the runners I meet, we're all doing the same. There's so many different reasons why we're doing it, but it all starts with either a mistake or something completely unrelated to running. When suddenly we're in there and we found ourselves, I think, and we just all go for it, really.
Yeah, and I never met anyone who said like, no, I picked that sport on purpose.
Yeah, I haven't met one runner. I mean, I know there's some American ones that from like college they get trained to do it and stuff. But here in Europe, I don't think there's anybody like that. Like everyone I meet is like, yeah, I started running and then someone told me about that race and I've said why not, and then but started running for all different reasons. I mean, I used to jog quite a lot. I like at school I liked running, but it wasn't the cool thing, so I went to play team sport instead. And then I carried on like jogging after work or with the dog or just for fun. Did one fun run once for, I think it was Children in Need. No, Sport Relief. And then I just gave up when I met my wife and my kids because I didn't have time. And then recently I had things in my life where I wanted to raise money for someone, and I thought, should I go up Snowdown? Because it's down the road from here. And then I did that, and then I started like, well, I'm going to run, get back into shape. I'm in a certain stage in life where a little beer belly was growing and stuff, and you're like, hold on, and like, I'm not even half of my life, I need to gain shape and do something. And then started doing my first 5k. Then I met a friend that was doing the Marathon des Sables.
Yeah.
And really inspired me, and he told me about the math method, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a go, it seems like a good way, changing my nutrition and that. And then last weekend I did the Snowdonia Marathon, and I'm doing an ultra when is it, 9th of December, doing my first jump trial, 42 miles for my 42nd birthday. So
that is pretty sweet.
yeah, and then next June I'm doing the Penclin Ultra, which is an ultra all around a part of North Wales on the coastal path and the mountains. It's just like quick to just get into it, and then
and then you're trapped. You don't know how to get out of it.
and then you're like, oh my god, I can do this, actually doing it, not just winging it, just actually doing it.
So do you want to do marathon stuff then? Because
Maybe.
If your buddy who did it,
I quite like to do the half one first, which is in Fuerteventura.
I did the MPS 2016.
Yeah.
Just go for the big one.
Yeah. I'd love to do it, but
just go for the big one.
with the hard thing for me is now that I'm a family man and I've got lots of commitments. So I work in catering. I'm as well a teacher. I do podcast. I got 2 kids, young kids. So I've got to fit my running in my life. No, I can't fit my life around my running, if it makes sense. So it's a lot harder. So like for training, it's like getting up a lot early in the morning so I can fit my training run, or do some running in between school time or in between work time. And so it's quite challenging to fit it in, but I managed to do it. So
time management is actually, I think, for any runners the most critical skill you can have. It's all about how you manage your time, how you able to put the work in, and you still have the training ethic to still commit, even if you have to wake up at 3 a.m. to do the run, because otherwise you won't be able to do it. The time management is for me is the absolute cornerstone of a good runner, especially for ultras, because you really need to get some training done, and not just in races. I mean, most of us will actually use some of the races as training for other races. And saying like that's a long run, basically.
Yeah, I did a half marathon like 6 weeks before the marathon as a training run, and I still I quite enjoyed it. And I didn't push myself, but I did a pretty good time. I was quite happy with that, but it was really enjoyable to use a race as a training run.
Yeah, and we're basically using the same thing as the typical half marathon in the marathon training program, but now it became like a 50-miler training for a 200-miler. And things like that. And so it's just the scale of it, it's just ridiculous. But so that when people look it from the outside, it's like you're racing every single weekend. It was like, no, this is just a long run for me. And then people think you're absolutely crazy because, there was like, oh, you cannot do a marathon, more than a marathon per year. All that myth that was existing. And now I heard people saying, oh, you shouldn't do more than 100-miler per year. And I'm like, actually not. there is no evidence to support you what you're saying.
I know.
And if you recall that, I mean, I did. Well, just to give you an idea, I did how many kilometers was that? Like 130k in 20 hours in September. In late August. Then 3 weeks later, I was doing Tour de Géant, which is 200-miler around Aosta Valley. And then 3 weeks later, I was crossing the Pyrenees. So, and there is basically no, and I'm fully fine. I mean, and I have another ultra in 2 weeks. It's a 130-mile it's called Escape from Meriden. I'm chained with a guy. And it's a long story. But essentially, what I'm saying here is that you don't really need to take that much of a break or anything. You need to properly recover, recover period, but you can pretty much like go every single time at it and with very short period of time. Because what most people don't understand with ultra marathons is you actually never pushing yourself
Yeah.
super hard, so you're not going to like destroy your entire body or something like that. That's something that you can do with a marathon.
Yeah.
But you won't do that on an ultra because you still have 10 hours to go. And if it's multi-day, well, you still have 5 days to go. So you basically cannot. You're always.
It's how you manage yourself, isn't it?
Trying to sustain.
Yeah.
Trying to sustain everything. And that's the moment when sleep management and basically everything not purely running becomes the run.
Yeah.
And food at that moment is crucial because that's the fuel. So if you don't put gas in the tank, it's game over. And a lot of people we go with with the gels and things like that because they're coming from marathons and that's a little bit more appropriate maybe. I mean I don't know. Even for marathons I was basically flat water and oranges.
Yeah.
But people like gels have sugar and stuff like that. But if you run on sugar for an ultra,
you're going to
the
crash.
I mean, there's no way,
Yeah.
So you need to eat carbs and pasta and like solid food. But then, are you able to run on with solid food in your stomach? There's a lot of things going on there. But yeah, the fuel part is actually a really critical skill to manage. I mean, to me, I'm going with roasted salted almonds.
Yeah.
You can eat that all day long, and for 100 grams, you have 800 kilocalories.
Yeah.
Which is the best ratio you can find on anything. I mean, whatever the brand is telling you, just straight almonds is the most calories you can get per gram. So, or any kind of nuts in general.
Yeah.
That's like it can be just peanuts or anything, but it's almonds. But you see the idea, right?
On my nutrition I use a lot.
Too, so even if there's a lot of fat in it and stuff like that, but nothing is processed, it's just freaking almonds, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of salt in it so that you can actually refill like all the elements you need to and stuff like that.
Yeah. But on my nutrition I use lots of nuts. I hardly use any sugar at all because I do low carb, high fat, and obviously sugar is one of the main carbs. But I just use my fat store really when I go running. Even for the marathon I didn't need anything apart from water.
I think most of the ultra runners are fat burners. I mean we don't go for sugar anymore.
No.
It's just too quick to get into the system and to get out, and then you have like that sugar low thing.
Yeah, and then
you're just more looking for that long-term duration, and the fat just does that.
And during your run, then every half hour you have to think about how am I going to top it up with some more sugar, and then that's constant on your mind rather than enjoying your running. And I think if you have most of it sorted before, nutrition, hydration and everything, then you can just go and run, not just...
I think food in ultra running is really important, not just for the nutritional value, but you have to have some pleasure in food too. Because, I mean, you're in pain. I mean, this is hell. And you're enjoying hell, but I mean, if you have some good food, I mean, it's
some comfort, isn't it?
There's like the pleasure associated with having good food is actually even more important than the nutritional value sometimes. I mean, when I was, so to finish the Pyrenees, to cross the Pyrenees, I decided that I was not going to sleep the last day. I was going to do it all night then.
Yeah.
Because I was sick of it. I was kind of seeing it in the distance. I knew I had 120 km to go.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Let's just finish this and not spending another day.
Yeah.
I knew the day after was in crappy weather. I was expecting full rain and everything. Like, you know what? Let's go for it. And then, so when the night started to come, I was in town about 3 hours before the night started, and I basically bought like ice creams, chocolate, like every bad thing you can imagine. I basically eat 2 ice creams in a row and then had a full 200 grams chocolate tablet. And then I had about like 2 other tablets like that for the entire night. And I basically spent my entire night eating.
Yeah.
It was a buffet. But the thing is, at that moment, I was already been going on average 50k per day with 3,000 meter of elevation for 12 days in a row.
Yeah.
And so you're not supposed to do an all-nighter at that moment because you're freaking exhausted. You're just right on the edge of the knife, and the only thing you want to do was cut through your fit and get into you. But the thing is, like, you can really use food as a mental fuel too.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And also, because you're an ultra runner,
you're
burning so much calories,
you
can eat literally anything. Anything. I mean, that was beautiful. During the crossing, I was eating about 4,000 kilocalories per day. And I lost weight even eating 4,000 kilocalories. So basically, the week after I finished, I was seeing my ribs, and it was not good at all. I was like, I knew you always have reserves on you of calories, and I knew I went into that, and I knew I didn't want to. And that was bad. I mean, the reserves that there's a reason why we have reserves that when you need it, you can use it, right? But I needed to replenish, and so after the finish, I spent the entire week eating.
Yeah.
And basically every single second, I was like, I think I'm hungry. I was eating. I was eating five meals a day. I had like 2 croissants every single morning on top of my breakfast at 10 a.m. Every single day of the week.
Yeah, but you need
beautiful,
to.
But I was eating everything.
Yeah.
I was, there was one night on the Saturday after I finished, I basically had a pizza at 6. A burger at 8, and then I was in a bar, so drinking beers and stuff like that, and I had it's called a board, like cheese and ham, things like that.
Like an antipasti.
So basically, I had 7,000 kilocalories in the span of 6 hours. But I was carving everything. I was like, I could shovel anything into my mouth. I knew I was like starving. And now it's back. I have my weight back on, but it took me about a full week of eating.
How much weight did you lose, more or less? How much weight did you lose on your 14 days?
I didn't weigh myself, but it was more visual.
Yeah.
So I'm 65 kilos, so I'm not really, I'm 65 kilos, 5% body fat. So I have, really lean profile. Basically nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So if I lose, it means
you see it straight away.
Shred everything.
Yeah.
That's all the little bits you have a bit everywhere, and that's what had been shredded. I mean, I don't know what was my body fat at that moment, but that was low. It was just bad. It went just bad.
Yeah.
And I was doing some little exercise in the same time the week after.
Yeah.
So that it's basically getting food in, but also kind of
burning the excess.
Build the muscle, because I knew I lost muscle. Not the legs. My legs are like even bigger than ever. I will have actually to go buy some new pants. I don't fit in them anymore. That has been happening for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
My waist is still the same.
Yeah.
But the diameter of the legs just keep increasing, and then you cannot fit in any of your pants anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not even fat. It's just like
muscle building.
Yeah. It's getting a problem. For me, it's impossible to find a good pair of pants because of that.
Yeah. And how did you train for doing this Pyrenees adventure? I mean, do you just go out and run, or do you have like a set training plan, or?
Right. So I plan I don't specifically train for a race. I train for my season.
Okay.
So season is a full. It basically starts. The training of the season starts in mid-December.
Yeah.
Usually the day of Christmas is the start.
Yeah.
And the season ends in late November.
Okay.
So the season for me ends in 3 weeks, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty long season, right? That's 11-month season.
Yeah.
And during that, so I have the first part of the year is dedicated to training.
Okay.
So I would basically book a race called Last One Standing in the UK. It's next to Belfast.
Yeah.
And it's a really simple race. It's a loop of 7 kilometers, so that's 4.1 miles.
Yeah.
That you have to do every single hour. And you have to start the next loop at the hour.
Yeah.
Until there is only one person standing.
Yeah.
And the goal is to get there and for me to do in 24 hours 100 miles.
Okay.
Which is pretty decent.
Yeah.
But that's so that's my first race of the year every time.
Yeah.
And that helps me to say like, okay, what's my form of the day? How am I doing? And working on the fundamental, like the core endurance.
Yeah.
And so to get ready to that race, which is in February, that's why I start in mid-December.
Yeah.
And I will do 5 trainings a week, so 5 runs a week.
Yeah.
During those periods, a short run is 10 miles.
Yeah.
And the long runs, it can go up to 6-7 hours on the weekends. So I tend to do about 200 kilometers per week.
All right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I mean, I can pull up the figures, but it's about 200 kilometers per week, and I still have in there one speed session.
Yeah.
To do cardio and fartlek.
Yeah.
So, like 400 meters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
400s or something like that. So that's my training for about.
Do you do any cross training with it? Do you do any like strength or core training or yoga? I don't know, whichever.
I don't. That's actually I've seen some of my limits are coming to come from the lack of general strength and ability to a relative lack of strength, right? Because I'm still able to do those things, but I see the limits coming in from strength and stress and things like that. So that's what I'm going to focus on next year. So really doing some core exercise of technical, to work on the technique and on the strength and on the core muscles and stuff like that. To make them better. So to go back to the training plan, so I have that race in February, which I basically running 200k per week for 10 weeks. So I build up quite some mileage for the year, and then from there I run the race, take a 2-week break, and then start running again the same training program. Because this year I was on the wait list for Barclay marathons.
All right. Yeah.
So I went to Barclay, I did loop, it was great. I of course paid because it's Barclay, but I was really happy to be there. It's an amazing experience, by the way. But then that was in April. So it's February. You have the race, then you have 10 more weeks. Then I had Barclay. I took a break. Then I went to India to race in the Himalayas.
All right. Yeah.
I failed the race. Unfortunately, I had a problem with the knee, and that's the moment I realized I had some issue with the strength and that. So I need to work on the core to work on that, and so that overall my ligaments and joints are even stronger. So that I'm able to sustain more of the road, because it was a road race. And I knew that was basically it. That what got me was the road. So I was working on that. And then I basically ran the entire summer, doing on and off running. So I was not. Basically, the training is over in June for me. Because I did all the work, all the really quality work, and fundamental endurance work is already done. And then from June to November, I'm basically living off it. Because I'm on and off with races. And that's basically enough. I do some fun runs, so I'm going to run 100k per week or something like that. And I basically do some runs and races. Always follow like a full week of break after a race, things like that. So really respecting